Hey beautiful people, it's Anna. Welcome to my channel if you're new to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you're not new to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Brittany Dawn. If you don't know who Brittany Dawn is, don't worry, we're gonna get into all the nitty-gritty. But recently she's been in another scandal, thus people are looking back at her old scandals to see who she is and what's going on. A lot of people don't know about Brittany Dawn's past, and she's not someone who's been in maybe one or two scandals in the past. She's been in multiple, and each one of them has been actually pretty serious. For example, you've got creators like Michaela who have been in smaller scandals like comments about influencing, being rude to a waitress, and people are like, oh, like all these things add up. But it's Brittany Dawn has had to re-imagize herself every time she's had one of these scandals because they've been so serious. She had to leave multiple industries because of these serious allegations. So today we're gonna go in and break down all of these and then talk about the new scandal that she's in that people are really worried about because it's not only affecting her, it's affecting a child. Let's get into it. So It's Brittany Dawn is a 31-year-old influencer originally from Texas. She was raised by a pilot father who she loves very much, and you can see all over her social media she posts about him very much. But as a result of her father, she's actually been pretty privileged. We don't hear her talk about too much hardships. She had other hardships she faced. I don't think was ever a financial issue. It's a privilege that she's always had in her life. Now, she did work some jobs in college. She didn't just like influence, but these jobs were related to her fitness and her love of working out. It seems as though she worked at a fitness center in Dallas or somewhere in Texas, and that this place had a habit of hiring people who were not trained enough in this. Now, religious wise, it seems as though she went to a few like of those Jesus camps when she was a kid, but it's not like she was in a cult or anything. It was just very like religious from a child, but it seems like she strayed away from those in her teen years because she talks about these now in her sermons because now she's a minister. She was called to ministry, that she struggled with alcohol and eating disorders in her college years. It seems as though she partied a lot, she struggled with eating, and she struggled with alcohol, and that was one of the biggest things that she had to overcome in her younger years. Now, she became popular at a pretty pivotal point in social media. She started becoming popular around 2011, 2012 for her fitness content. Now, a lot of these posts have been taken down, so the latest posts that you'll see are back in 2014, and her page is so different back then from what it is now. So in the past, she would post a lot of skinny inspiration pics. She would post like development pictures. So she used to weigh, I think, 169 pounds, and she'd like drop down a bunch of weight. So she'd post those two different pics to show, wow, like this is how much weight I've lost. Like I haven't always been skinny. Like I've worked to be here, basically. It was her content. She said that quite a bit in her old captions. And that is how she kind of came to be in the beginning. Let's talk about her love life. Mind you, this is like all the introduction, so you need all of this context for each of the scandals she's been in. It's not just random information, I promise. So in 2016, she married her high school sweetheart, Zach Grayson. The content with Zach Grayson is very minimal. It seems as though he didn't like to be on social media, which is totally valid, but she did post him a few times, and the relationship was okay. There wasn't anything too different. And they ended up getting divorced. It's a very messy breakup, to be completely honest. Each side throws around some pretty severe allegations. There are allegations that she emotionally cheated, that he physically cheated, and then there are allegations of domestic violence. So this whole situation is very messy. It's not clear. And honestly, it's not something the internet probably should have known in the first place, because why did we have to know? The interesting thing about the breakup with Zach, or the divorce with Zach, she was married to him, was that she posted a video of a day in the life eating. And in the video title, it says day in the life eating, ... heartbroken. And everyone's like, what's that? So they click on the video. Almost at the end of the video, she's crying because someone DM'd her telling her that her husband had sent provocative messages to her, and she just wanted to let her know. And it's just very awkward because the video goes from showing like a protein shake to like, my husband is cheating on me. Again, it's that like social media post that you're like, why is this on the internet in the first place? She has now married again after less than a year of dating, which fine by you. It seems as though there were religious reasons for getting married so quickly, because she talks about how she stayed a virgin with this man, but not in the past, and she just wanted to change it. So it's very interesting to see like the change in content. And there's a reason for this change in content. I personally don't think she became a different person, and a lot of people would agree with me on this. She married her second husband. His name is Jordan Nelson, and they had been dating for less than a year and got married. It seems as though the timeline also doesn't line up, because he was married in the past before with his ex-wife, because it seems as though they got divorced after he started dating Brittany Dawn. So interesting. Honestly though, not the worst thing about this couple, but we'll get to it. Let's go back to the career in the beginning of Brittany Dawn. The beginning, like I said, she was a fitness influencer, and she posted a lot of skinny inspiration, a lot of weight loss inspiration. She posted a lot of routines. And as a result, one of the ways that she decided to monetize her career as an influencer, because mind you, you have to find ways to monetize if you want to be a full-time influencer, totally valid. She decided to sell personalized fitness kits. Interesting, because it doesn't seem like she has any degree in nutritionist or like personal trainer, but she decided to do it, and people purchased it. Cost them thousands of dollars. It was an expensive program. It was not cheap, and it would give them a meal plan as well as like a workout plan. People were buying it, were really excited, until they started joining Facebook groups with other women who had also purchased this and learned that it was not personalized at all. Things also got worse when they would ask for feedback on like how they were working out, they weren't losing weight, blah, 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 blah. Mind you, it wasn't personalized. And she basically wouldn't respond. It was a selling a fake workout, and a lot of people were very upset about it, and it got worse. People started sending her emails for help. She wouldn't respond, so people started asking for refunds. She would give them a refund in exchange for a non-disclosure agreement. They had to sign it to get any sort of refund, from 50 to the full refund. But most people wouldn't even get a full refund. They would only get a partial refund. And now I'm gonna read something to you. She's being sued by the state of Texas for promising her followers these personalized plans that never happened. Her website promised Brittany Dawn Fitness crew would help them every step of the way, but they didn't get that help, and instead they got a generic plan for workout and diet that wasn't unique to them. The state believes this amounts to deceptive trade practices and is seeking damages from $250,000 to $1 million. She's being sued by the state of Texas. That's how serious the situation got. During these trade practices, she was accused of fraudulently accepting payments for services unrendered, which basically means that she never followed through with these plans. And she promoted these diet plans as like individualized introduction, and people didn't receive them. So the controversy led to an ongoing suit by the state Texas Attorney General against Dawn for misleading Texas consumers about her product. As a result of all of this was in 2019, she posted an apology video, which again, it's an interesting apology video. She is reading off her cell phone, which isn't a bad thing in the worst, but there is like no emotion when she's reading it. At least this is like my personal opinion. She doesn't really have emotion when she's reading this. And as a result, people were not receptive to it. It did get taken down. It does not exist anymore. It's called My Public Statement About the Past 24 Hours, and the public did not like it. She has a dryer on in the background that's like going at full volume, and it was just one of the worst apologies I have ever seen. So that was the big scandal that pushed Brittany Dawn out of the fitness world. And as a result, she rebranded herself as a evangelical Christian content creator, which is a space that a lot of people enter when they are quote unquote canceled. Don't love that word, but a lot of them use that because they show that they overcome this hard battle, and thus they can enter into this space where there's like a low bar, and like they can really grow as like a Christian creator. And so she like got baptized again, drew back in her faith, became more modest, and put on some pretty conservative views. Now, I'm not saying she wasn't conservative before all of this, because most likely she was. She was from Texas, lived in a state, but she became very right-wing, alt-right, QAnon conspiracy theorist. She believes in like the Save the Children hashtag, which is a hashtag which seems innocent at the beginning, but the hashtag isn't great because it pushes QAnon conspiracy theories that Satan is capturing these children and they are getting human trafficked. It pushes some weird ideals, and it doesn't really use great testimony. This is a result of her religion. She also doesn't believe in Roe v. Wade and was very happy that it was even overturned. She posted a huge thing on her stories. She posted a lot about her church and her being a minister. And as a result, she was also able to sell retreats on her website in which women would come to her house for around $600 and get baptized in the water. Mind you, this was an all-women retreat, but who was there? Her husband. Mind you, we do not like him. I will tell you soon why we do not like him. He's coming up. One of the worst things that she did with her religion is exploiting a homeless person. So this homeless person, his name's James. He's all over the internet, and he's actually come forward recently. There is a whole story on Brittany Dawn's page called James Part 1. It's most likely that's going to get taken down. I will see if it's posted anywhere else, and if not, I will screen record all of it and post it. This James tells the story of how Brittany Dawn and her family saved this man. So this man was a homeless man who had come into the church to tithe 15 cents. He was doing some sort of religious thing inside the church, and he donated 15 cents to the church because God is good and he believed in God. Her husband, Jordan Nelson, saw this and they decided to help this guy out. Beginning, it sounds all good. It honestly sounds pretty amazing. So they started helping him out. They got him food, they got him a hotel room, and as a result, in one of the comments, someone said, "Do you have a GoFundMe for him? We'd really like to help him out," because the story went pretty viral pretty quickly. And so people started helping out, donating money to him. And it seemed as though he needed some sort of rehabilitation. He was almost on the street for over 20 years, and he needed some help in the mental health experience and addiction, which again, that comes a lot with these situations. And a lot of people just need a lot of help, and the state doesn't give that help. They were raising money in the beginning on the GoFundMe for this rehab center, but a center decided to open up its doors and accept James into his doors. And he actually freaked out before he went into the center. And this is all posted on It's Brittany Dawn's story. Like it's things that should not be on the internet. And so he freaked out before he went to the center and left the room, but they found him and they got him sent to the rehab center. And she doesn't post anything else. There's no more updates on James, and they raised over $25,000 for James. In another Q&A, they kind of said, "Oh yeah, he's doing well, he's thriving." Apparently, James has now come out with his own story. I'm going to link someone's TikTok who has been having conversations with James and helping him with this entire situation. James had no idea there was a GoFundMe for him, and he did not receive any of that money when he went to that rehab center. Now, the rehab center may have said to not give him the money before he left the rehab center, but once he graduated his program, he only received $6,000 from the GoFundMe. Brittany Dawn is claiming that he's lying and he received it all, but she has not posted any receipts, and she got shortly married after this entire situation. So some people are speculating that she used this money with her husband on their marriage. Has come forward and said like he didn't even know about the situation. Honestly, he seems very confused with this entire situation. I feel truly, my heart goes out to him, and I hope with this awareness we can get him his own GoFundMe. His sister is trying to help him out, but it's a very difficult situation to navigate, especially when someone else had a control of his GoFundMe. Some people are recommending to report the GoFundMe, but I don't know if that would cause everyone to get refunded their money and James not to get a portion of it. So I don't know what to recommend. If you guys have any ideas, leave it in the comments down below, because my heart truly goes out for James, and I think that money would change his life and truly would impact him in a very positive way. And it's not Brittany Dawn's money to handle and control. Now, It's Brittany Dawn has had another scandal with their animals, and there's a lot of animals that have been exploited for views, exploited for likes, exploited by her content. And as a result, she has actually abandoned quite a few of them, and a few of them have disappeared overall. The story that's most commonly known of Brittany Dawn and her animals is her pet dog. So she had a dog that she called her emotional support animal, and one afternoon they decided to go on errands, her and her husband, and they left the dogs outside. They didn't leave it behind a gate. There was a street. The dog ran into the street like dogs do, and the dog sadly was hit by a vehicle. Now, the person didn't stop, and that really sucks. It was a hit and run. The dog did not die upon impact. When they arrived at the scene, the dog was laying there and he was suffering. Instead of taking the dog to the vet, Brittany Dawn went inside and her husband shot the dog on the road. First, that's illegal. You legally cannot do that. Second, people have found her address and have located that there were 2 emergency vets in the area that could have helped the dog. Shooting the dog in the head is not a good thing to do. And again, this isn't the only animal that has been exploited by It's Brittany Dawn. So back in 2014, she had a dog named Coco, and Coco is still around, and Coco is doing. In 2014, she also had Kita the husky. Mind you, I'm going to put a timeline on here that someone created on Reddit so you can follow along, and the link will also be in the comments. Kita was Zach's Christmas surprise. Zach was her first husband. He seemed to be around for a year or two, and she said that she was sending him off to training, and then he disappeared. No one ever saw Kita the husky ever again. In 2018, she had a dog named Harlow. It's suspected that he went back to the breeder because there was no follow-up on him and he disappeared. He was a German Shepherd, and she introduced him in a Facebook post that said, "Meet Harlow, the newest little one, and going plant-based, my major diet changes," about 3 years ago on YouTube. In 2019, she got a pit bull named Nico, and she posted him on Facebook and talked about him on Twitter as well, just like, oh, like, this is my experience with Nico. He was gone for a while, and she finally admitted that he was gone in April of 2019 because he was extremely hyper, and her as a fitness influencer couldn't handle that hyperness. She gave him up and rehomed him, and she called it Life to Update, Where's My Pit Bull? Next Steps, My Heart. She didn't like even call him by his name. She just like called him Pitbull. 2019 though, she got Brody, which is the dog that was shot, said she needed him for emotional support because she was missing her other dog. He was a golden doodle. In 2020, she got the dog named Remington. He's like a little white lab, it looks like, and he's allowed to just go out and adventure when they are not home. Same with Brody. He's still around though. He seems to be doing okay. In 2019 to 2020, she got exposed for what she did with her horse, Harley. So she left a review on Yelp saying that a stable that she had left her horse at was neglecting her horse and to recommend to find another one. Well, it turns out that the horse shelter owners exposed Brittany. She would forget to pay on time. She left her horse for weeks and months on end, and when the horse needed veterinary help, the stable had to pay out of pocket for it because Brittany was not paying for it. So she neglected that horse completely, and they left a whole Yelp review that you can pause to read right here. Now, in December of 2021, she got another dog named Oakley, and he was a Christmas surprise. Coco and Remy, Coco was the little dog at the beginning, her first dog, and Remington, which is the little white dog, seemed to be living at her parents' ranch. And they even got a new fence for the new dog, Oakley, because Brody and Remy would go out. A lot of neglection with all of the dogs, and a lot of people have called her out on it, but she does not state it. Also, she claims that she was a vet tech for 5 years in the video where she talks about Brody, but no one can find any evidence on that, nowhere. So people are very confused with that whole situation, and it seems to be pushed under the rug quite a few times. On her website, Brittany Dawn also sells presets. Again, she sells these for $12 each. I think it's another way to get income. The fitness website is now down after the whole trial with, the fitness scams, and she hasn't really addressed it ever since. Again, she does post some fitness videos every now and again, but it's not as much as it used to be. Now she focuses on her evangelical content and her pro-Christian content, which is interesting to say the least. She also posts about something called Freedom Shield, which is an organization she does with her husband, which is about human trafficking and saving the children, but it seems to be another QAnon conspiracy theory, like Satan is taking these children and we need to help them. A lot of people have also called her out about her appearance because she spray tans quite a bit, and it's like 5 shades darker than she is. So a lot of people have called her out for that as well. Again, never addressed it. She also has made some really nasty comments about Hinduism and Buddhism because she claims that she doesn't want to practice yoga, meditation, or zodiac signs because these are all invitations for demons. Now let's get into Jordan Nelson, because his backstory is very dark and quite disgusting. So Jordan Nelson used to be a police officer for the Kansas City Police Department, and he's currently 37 years old. So he's 6 years older than Brittany. Jordan Nelson got fired from being a police officer, which very rarely happens, because he assaulted a black man. There is dash cam footage. I do not recommend anyone watch it because it's disgusting, but if you want proof that he did it, There is dash cam footage out there. He assaulted this black man for no reason, and this black man needed to go to the hospital for the damages that Jordan Nelson caused. He claims that he didn't do it, hasn't even done interviews explaining his side of the story that honestly, to me, don't matter because he assaulted a black man. They got married on September 18th, 2021. They were engaged in July of 2021. They had been dating for less than a year, and again, it's been overlapped with the first wife. Allegedly, they are religious together, but people behind the scenes have come forward and stated that he is not religious. He is only doing this for her and for the content on the internet. A lot of people have been very worried about his aggression because of, again, the black man that he assaulted, but he also had shot the dog and just made some very aggressive comments. People are very concerned with how aggressive he is and how comfortable he is with being that aggressive. And she, again, has never addressed any of this. There is an article talking about where he shot the black man. I'm going to link it in the comments. I recommend you read it because it brings a lot of awareness to the situation. He was sued by the ACLU, which was later dropped, sadly. But again, there was dash cam footage. They had a miscarriage back earlier this year in 2022. And my heart goes out for them. Miscarriages are not easy. I have never been through one personally, but I think everyone can empathize with women that go through miscarriages, especially women who were really wanting a child and they were struggling with infertility. As a result of their miscarriage and their infertility, they decided to apply for foster care earlier this year and were accepted into foster care. They were given a newborn child. Now, if you don't know with foster care, first, the goal is reunification. You want that child to go back to its family. Children go through enough trauma as it is. In the foster care system, the goal of foster parents is to be a caregiver, to help the family, and to get that child back into its own home. Second, you are not supposed to be posting this child on social media. Most people shouldn't even know that you're a foster care parent. And if you want to talk about your experiences, you're more than happy to, as long as you're not exploiting that child. And I feel very strongly about young children in general being posted on the internet, but it is a whole nother level when it is not your child. Now, she's made a lot of comments about how she's a mother, she's now a parent, this is her baby, this was her chance. She's made a lot of content about this baby. She has shown everything but the child's face. She has shown a lot of experiences with the child. She's talked about how she's a mother. Again, this is a newborn child. The mother just gave birth. She is currently struggling and she doesn't have her baby anymore. It is not your place to be making this content, to be claiming you're the child's mother and that you're a mother anyway. You've had this child for less than a month. You are not a mother to this child. You are a caregiver, you are a support system, but this child deserves to be cared by its own family, especially if the mother wants the child. Now, people are really concerned for that child because she's making money. This is her newest scam, and I know a lot of people are like, how can foster care system be a scam? First, you get money from foster care. Second, it's an opportunity for content, and it's obvious that she wants to go into the mommy vlog, family vlogger scene because a lot of money can be made from that. People have proven that a lot of money off exploiting the child, you can make a ton of money. And I know a lot of people say, well, most of the time they save money for their kids. That child was still exploited for views, and they do not have the ability to consent to the parent filming them and posting on the internet. First, because they don't understand what the internet is. They don't know the quantity of people that could watch this. Second, because the internet is forever. And a foster care child has enough going on as it is that it does not need to be exploited for views and the first experiences in the world to be posted on the internet for views. And that's why the situation is especially disgusting. My second question is, how was Jordan Nelson allowed to be a foster care parent? Did they not see the experiences that he did to that black man? There was a past of aggression, and I am very concerned with any children that goes into their home. And I especially hope that they are not given any POC children for that child's sake. They claim that God sent them this baby and that they prayed for this moment, but it's so sad that they prayed for this moment, for a child to be ripped out of its family hands and for the child to leave their family. She claims that reunification is her goal, and she's copied quite a few comments from reunification content awareness pages, but many disagree that she truly believes that by the content that she portrays. So that's Brittany Dawn. That's all the scandals she has been in until now. I recommend you stay away from her. Do not purchase anything from her. And that's my opinion. You do not have to follow it, but that's just my opinion. I hope this brings some awareness to you about what's going on and everything, and it's just not one scandal, it's multiple. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to follow my TikTok and everything on my Linktree. I also have a second account called Not Anna Reports News where I post about me, and I have the gram where I post pictures about myself. So you should definitely go check out all of those. I love you guys so much.